Okay, you guys are in for a special treat today because I'm going to share with you a traditional Armenian folk tale. The story is called One Fine Day. One fine day there was a fox and he went out on an adventure. He went across a giant forest. When he got to the other side, it had been a long journey and so he was feeling quite tired and hungry and thirsty. As he was trying to rest and he looked around, he noticed that there was an old woman who was gathering sticks. He also noticed that that old woman had on the ground near her a jug of milk. And as he was so hungry and thirsty, he went over and he started drinking that milk quietly while her back was turned. Well, by the time she noticed what was going on, he'd almost drank all of her milk. She was so angry, she pulled out her knife and she cut off that fox's tail. She just cut it right off. And the fox couldn't believe what had just happened, and he said, "Please, old woman, please give me back my tail. If I don't get my tail back, I won't be able to return to my friends. They will laugh at me." And she said, "I'll give you back your tail when you give me back my milk." And the fox thought, "Okay, I've got to find some milk to give it back. I need my tail." And so he went off in search of some milk. And by he came across a cow who was grazing in a pasture. He said to that cow, "Could I please have some of your milk? I need some milk to give to the woman so she can give me back my tail." And the cow thought for a second, and she told the fox that he could have some of her milk if he would bring her some grass. And so he thought that would be easy enough, and so he went off in search of some grass. And he came to a big grassy field, and he asked the field, "Field, could you please give me some grass? I need some grass to give to the cow, to get some milk to give to the woman, to get my tail back." And the field said, "You may have some grass if you bring me some water." The fox thought that would be pretty easy, and so off he went to find some water. By and by he came to a stream, and he asked that stream, "Stream, may I please have some of your water? I need some water to give to the field, to get some grass, to give to the cow, to get some milk, to give to the woman, to get my tail back." And that stream said, "You can have some of my water, but you need to bring a jug." And he thought that made some sense, right? He couldn't carry the water in his hands. And so he went in search of a jug. And as he was walking along, he noticed over on a hillside there was a maiden who was resting there on the side of the hill. And next to the maiden was a jug. And so as he came up to the maiden, he put on his pitiful face and he said, "Please, maiden, can I please have your jug? I need that jug to get some water, to give water to the field, to get some grass to give to the cow, to get some milk to give to the woman, to get my tail back, or I won't be able to return to my friends. They will laugh at me." He was pretty pitiful as he was telling this story, and she felt sorry for him, but she said, "I'll give you my jug, but I want you to bring me a blue bead, a beautiful blue bead." And at this point, the fox was feeling a little bit perplexed. He was wondering where he was going to find a blue bead, the water, the grass, that was kind of easy, but a bead. So he went off in search of this bead. By and by, he came across a peddler, a man who had all kinds of trinkets and things on his back in a sack. And that fox came and he told that peddler his story, and he asked him if he could please have a blue bead. And that peddler said, he wasn't too impressed with the fox's story. He was kind of heard about how sly foxes could be. And so he said, "I'll give you a blue bead if you can bring me an egg." And so the fox thought, okay, that doesn't sound too hard. So he went in search of a chicken, and by he came across a chicken, and he said, "Chicken, may I please have an egg? I need an egg so that I can give it to the peddler, to get a bead, to give to the maiden, to get a jug, to get some water, to give to the field, to get some grass, to give to the cow, to get some milk, to give to the woman, to get my tail back." And the chicken was kind of leery of foxes. You know, foxes eat chicken sometimes, but she said she would give him an egg if he in turn brought her some grain. And so he was just feeling desperate at this point. This has been such a long journey for him. He was still tired and hungry, and he just felt like it was going to go on and on. And so by the time he came to a mill where there was a miller with some grain, he was feeling pretty desperate. And he went to the miller and he said, "Mr. Miller, could I possibly have some grain? I really need the grain to be able to give it to the chicken so that I can have an egg to give to the peddler, to get a bead to give the maiden, to get a jug to get some water to give to the field, to get some grass to give to the cow, so that I may have some milk to give to the woman, so that I can have my tail back, and so that I can go home to my friends." And the miller, he was a kind-hearted and a good man. And he listened to the fox's story, and he gave him some grain. He didn't even ask him for anything in return. He gave him some grain to give to the chicken, to get an egg, to give to the peddler, to get a bead, to give to the maiden, to get a jug, to get some water, to give to the field, to get some grass, to give to the cow, to get some milk, to give to the old woman. And when he did, he gave her that milk. And so sure enough, like she promised, she sat next to him and she stitched his tail right back into place. And that fox was so happy to have his tail back in place that he ran back to his friends clear across the forest. The end.
Yay!